Minutes after 10 o'clock. The name is Unalena Barata Pateke. On Twitter at Ona_Pateke. And of course, we are at BMH Radio on all social media platforms and live www.bmhradio.co.za. I'll be with you till midday. Today, I've got what I call pretty much my post said legend. You know, that's me. That's what I would say. How you doing, MarcLottering?
How you doing?
I'm great.
Doing? Good to be here.
Do you still find yourself in settings where you have to introduce yourself to people?
Yeah, I never assume that people know you. You know, in one of my earlier shows, I said that I was walking around in Sandton, in the mall, and you know, as Cape Townians do, we walk around in the mall. We pretend we can afford everything, just window shopping. And this woman runs up to me and she hugs me. She's got 2 little kids with her. And she begs me for a picture, and we take the picture, and she says, I just love you because I love the comedy of the Cape. And as they leave, the little kid says, Mommy, who's that? And she says, well, you're born under a rock. Who doesn't know Solly Philander? So, you know, you can't assume that people know you. And a lot of the times people talk to me and they say, oh, I just loved you in Material. And they take a picture, and they're talking about Joey Rashdeen. So you must never. So I still introduce myself to people. Yeah.
That is amazing. My thing is also I'd like to know. It's like, when did you realize that you're actually funny and making this a viable career for yourself?
I felt when I got to about grade 10.
Wow.
I felt that I enjoyed making people feel comfortable. I hated chaos. I didn't like conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was hanging with my friends, you know, if there was an argument, I kind of like to turn things around, say something funny, make everybody be easy about stuff.
That is so
So I have that memory.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward, I mean, I went on to UCT, I went on to University of Cape Town, I studied law. I didn't think, you know, that I was comedy wasn't an option at that point. But I still enjoyed being the guy to make people feel happy.
That is so amazing.
So I think towards the end of my studies, I realized that was not what I wanted to do. I got a job in advertising, and then my whole life changed. While I was working in advertising, one night I had about 3 tequilas, and we were in a coffee shop on my birthday, and I went up to the microphone and I did 30 minutes. And the owner of that coffee shop said to me, please come back every night, because I think people will pay to hear this.
Wow.
That was 21 years ago.
So that was your first ever stand-up show?
That was my stand-up gig.
Oh my God.
And I knew then, you know, I said this to somebody yesterday, when you wake up and you know that you're on the right path, is, you know, no matter how crap you feel, but you just know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
There's nothing else I'd like to do. That's how I feel.
You know, one thing about anything related to media, people think it's not a real career. So I want to know, when you decided to go even to your parents and say, I think I want to make people laugh for a living, what was their reaction?
Sure, my parents were not, because you must know my parents were very religious. My father was a pastor of a church, so we were in church a lot. My brother and I, I've got one brother. So I used to sing in the praise and worship team, and I did all the right things. And when I found comedy, and I didn't tell my parents, and my mother, one day my mother's friend came to tell her, we saw Mark on a poster. And she was like, people say they saw you on a poster, like with your name and your surname. And I said, well, I'm doing this thing of comedy, and they felt that was other people's children had to do that, but we were respectable. So, but they changed their minds when I came home with my first check, you know, because money changes things. And then they said, oh no, we can see God is using you as well in a very different way.
Yeah.
So I think they somehow came to understand, you know, my business of comedy is about making South Africans feel good.
That is amazing.
And I think, you know, that's, you know, when my parents said that's like bringing the good news to people. So in one way or other, you're still kind of like a pastor.
Is it also true that comedians off stage are generally loners and fairly quiet?
That is true.
Wow.
You have to, you know, because you go into your head.
Yeah.
And even when we're backstage, I wish you could hang backstage with us if we're backstage at the Goliath Comedy Club or wherever we might be, or if we're backstage at Blacks Only. Comedians, if we're in one dressing room, we're either just talking a lot and talking loudly and just laughing because of all the nerves, because you're hearing your friend out there on stage and he or she's getting all that laughter, and you've got to go out there after that person and still make everyone at Empress Palace scream. So the nerves are kicking in. So you're either doing that, or you're just pacing up and down and kind of in your own head and with your own thoughts, you know. So ultimately, when you're a stand-up comedian, you are alone.
Wow.
You know, whether it's physically or whether you're in your head, because you're just getting stuff right. So I think a lot of people are disappointed when they meet some comedians in a mall or off stage or at a club, because you expect to see the funny girl or the funny guy that you see on stage.
Yeah.
And people kind of get sort of ticked off when they meet someone. They go, but you're meant to be laughing
funny,
all the time. And I'm like, no, I'm funny for money.
Yeah.
But having me on the other hand, when I compare myself to my other friends in the business, I don't go out if I'm feeling
down.
Yeah. Because I know that people expect the funny person.
Exactly.
So just to avoid that, you know, just stay in and chill with some Netflix, or, you know, read your good books.
Yeah.
But I try, if I'm feeling really down, I try not to go out. But most of the time I feel great.
21 minutes after 10 o'clock. If you just tuned in, this is the Morning Drift, and I'll be with you till midday. I am Onalina Baratapeteke. I'm hanging out with South African comedian MarcLottering. So please do send through all those questions. Just on a lighter note.
Yeah.
Knock jokes or yo mama jokes, are they even still a thing?
That went to a really lighter note. I haven't heard a knock joke but mind you, I've actually not heard a your mama joke in a long time either. So I think if I'm at a party and I don't want to get annoyed, I would probably go with your mama.
Your mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Knock is not gonna make you laugh. You gotta like be. I mean. You gotta be Chris Rock to tell a funny knock.
Yeah. I also want to know from you, can people distinguish between when you're actually serious and when you're being funny?
I've had occasions where you know, people have taken me seriously where I thought surely you wouldn't. Someone said last year, somebody said someone worked for a newspaper and was a young journalist, and he asked someone at the office, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because he had to come and meet me. And someone couldn't make the interview, and they sent the young journal, and he said, I won't mention the newspaper, it is here in Joburg. It starts with and they said, Mark, man, don't you know Mark, the clown, Mark? That's all they told him. He arrived at the interview, and he said to me, how long have you been in the circus? And I thought, okay, he's being really clever or witty, so I'm going to run with this. And I said, well, you know, we grew up, and my cousin had somehow managed to get this cub, this young lion, and we kept it at home. And then, you know, because we had this lion at home, I grew up and I felt that I was close to the circus.
Yeah.
But like absolute nonsense. And this guy kept nodding and writing and nodding and writing. And do you know when you realize that your joke has gone too far and it didn't work and it's too late to fix it?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh wow, okay, this guy thinks I'm really a clown in a circus. So I sent him back to the office with those notes, and of course people called screaming with laughter, his colleagues, and like apologizing and saying they're sorry.
Yeah.
So I think we all have the ability sometimes to, you know, you can tell a story and you can tell a funny story and you can let it go on for too long. But you've got to know who your audience is. So I think if you look into somebody's eyes and you realize, you know, this person, you know, did not do all these subjects higher grade, then you can't exactly push that joke for a very long time.
That is so true.
You've got to know who the audience is.
And speaking of that, like, what advice do you have for new stand-up comedians, rather, that during a set and they tell a bad joke that no one loves, how do you pick up from that to make people come back to your set?
Okay, firstly, it's the cruelest thing to see when you witness that moment, but it's also the most wonderful moment to see, because you go like, yeah, you must go through that because we all went through that. But you want the earth to open. And when you're doing your set, you know, as time goes on, every comedian in their back pocket, they've got about 5 gags that they know will work anywhere in the world, where you go, these are my lifesavers.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if the room goes quiet and people start looking at their watches or start playing with their phones, you've got to have some lifesaver gags. So, but you learn that. It's a technique that you learn as you carry on. And, you know, then you immediately go, this is not working. And you go and you take out that lifesaver gag and you hear the first laugh and you say, thank you, good night. Go while they're laughing. A lot of guys like to stay at that microphone and they hear the laughter and they go, oh, okay, it's going well. I'll change my mind. I'll stay. No, don't stay.
Just go.
Just go. Just go while we are smiling.
Yeah. And how also do you deal with people that always want you to be funny, or expect you to constantly be telling jokes around them?
It's not a great thing, especially if you're doing you know, sometimes some comedians get these corporate gigs and then they tell you it's an open bar and you can stay afterwards, and of course being a comedian, who can resist an open bar, because you suddenly start having drinks that you would never have on your own tab. And then there are people, you know, from these companies who stand there, because there's one joker in every office who fancies herself or himself to be a comedian. And they start telling you, and you can already feel, I'm going to be stuck with this person. This is, you know, and then you've just got to, you kind of get that smile. I don't think it's just comedians. I think you've been through that in your life as well. If a guy's trying to chat you up and he's trying to tell a story, there you see you did it now. Your smile goes automatic, and you go, okay, I've got to wait for this to end. This will be about 2 minutes, and then I've got to make up a phone call. So you get your smile in place, but you obviously try to get away from that person as fast as you can.
Exactly. And then also, also on a lighter note, this one, I mean, I think you've gotten this. I mean, I love your hair. So give us just some tips, basically, on your hair.
The tips are very boring. Because, so to speak.
Doing nothing.
You do nothing, you know. I think I made a decision, because, you know, you grow up on the Cape Flats. At some point, everyone gets chemicals into their hair because that's our story. Yeah. But fortunately, just in time, I decided that might be the wrong thing to do. So now I meet a whole lot of people who they've got amazing hair, but they've had to put so much chemicals in their hair that they can't get it back to being an afro. And people have been wanting fros for years, and now you want your fro back, but it's long gone because you know, you've done different things to your hair now. So my advice to people who want a fro, just stay natural. Yeah. Stay natural for as long as you can. You know, if you can stay away from chemicals, try and stay away from chemicals, and then this fro will be there. 21
minutes after 10 o'clock, still hanging out with MarcLottering. I just want you to finish off these sentences for me.
But I want to ask you first, you play such good music. Like, who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper is Nasty C.
Oh wow, it's amazing.
Oh my god.
Are you like a fan?
I'm a fan, but not a creepy fan. Okay?
Oh, okay, great. Just needed to clear the air. Love your tat, by the way.
Which is not there even. It's not there anymore. But anyway, finish off these sentences for me, Mark. When I face a big challenge, I
pray.
You pray. I believe
everything is as it should be.
Oh wow. And then the biggest lesson I've ever learned is
surround yourself with people who dream big.
Wow. My greatest fear is
the sound of no laughter.
Wow, that is actually beautiful. And also, if I could go back to my 20-year-old self, what would I tell my 20-year-old self?
Oh my word, you're going to be huge.
Ooh, and lastly, the South African cabinet should include a minister of?
If I was what? Did you think?
The South African cabinet should include a minister of?
Laughter!
Oh yes! I definitely agree with that one. So now we want to go into the musical.
Yes!
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. Antimaro.
Perfect.
Oh, wow. Perfect. Wow. Okay. See, I thought maybe I have to be
I'm a bit
Afrikaner
I'm a bit like you. What? Except real.
Except it's real? Please tell us, who is Antimaro?
Antimaro is, I was doing my stand-up 20 years ago, and You know, because I grew up on the Cape Flats. I always believe when you touch on a subject matter on stage, it must be something that you're familiar with.
Okay.
Something that you know about. So I don't like, for example, I don't really like people talking about the Cape Flats if they know nothing about it. I don't like people talking about the township if they know nothing about it. I don't like people talking about Houghton if they know nothing about a Houghton housewife. You've got to know your material.
That is so true.
And that's the only reason why people laugh, because they see the honesty in something. And I've always said I'm definitely not the funniest person around, but when you tell an honest story and people go, this guy knows what he's talking about, I've been there, I've been to that car wash, I've been to that party where people are putting their jackets in the middle and dancing in a circle, then, you know, that is what resonates with the audience. So, because I grew up on the Cape Flats, there were many strong women around me. My mother and her friends, and I used to listen to stuff that they say, things that would embarrass you. You know, we've all got that aunt at home where your friends come to visit and you go, please don't speak. Please do not speak. My friends are here, please. So, so Auntie Merle became that kind of cake, and I took this doek out of my back pocket and I put it on my head and I did this Cape Flats lady for 7 minutes. And it resonated with the audience. And every time I did my show since then, people were asking me, hey, where's that auntie? Do the auntie. And she became Auntie Merle, and she became this middle-class auntie from the Cape Flats who would always be telling people she lives in a freestanding house. You know, that the garage has a remote control. So it's that person that people identify with. And the character just became more and more popular as the years rolled by. And this, you know, last year when I decided I wanted to write a musical, I thought, who will I write a musical about? And after a few glasses of wine, I came up with Auntie Merle, the musical. And I thought, so for 20 years, people have been imagining, what does Merle's husband look like? What does the helper look like? What does the daughter look like? What does the neighbor look like? And then I auditioned people, and we now have a cast of 14 actors, a live band, which will just blow your mind away. 22 original songs, a great story. I wrote the script, and we're on at Joburg Theatre, and we have been rocking. People have been, Joburgers, to our shock, have been responding more than Cape Town people. And we had the show in Cape Town for a year. We ran for 3 seasons. Joburgers have been getting up on their feet every night with their massive standing ovations, and we've just been having a great time.
Wow. Are you going to take it also national, this musical?
We, you know, it's such an expensive show because when you see the show, and you will see the show, because you now have got complimentary tickets for you, that's the only reason you invited me. So the whole team will come watch the show. It's a big show. It's a real musical, because my heart has always been, we want to do things right. And when people spend money at the box office to see a show, we want to give people, so there's fantastic lighting, we've got a choreographer, the dancing's amazing. The singing, Tankiso Mamabolo is just going to blow South African minds away for the next few years. I think she's the next big thing. And so it's gooseflesh moments. So to travel the show is really expensive because people have to be accommodated, but who knows, I mean, we never thought we'd come to Joburg. So miracles do happen. Earlier on I said, you know, I hang out with people who dream big. So we place no limits on our dreams. So now Durban and Joburg, Durban and Port Elizabeth have been screaming on social media for the show. So I'm not going to limit it. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. It's not cast in stone yet. But my whole life, my journey for 20 years now, has been full of flippant surprises. I thought I would be telling jokes for like a year and it'll be over. And I remember coming to Joburg on a bus for my first time, coming to do stand-up here. And a friend of mine phoned me and he said to me, my bro, I'm at the braai and they mentioned your name and your surname. You're like, you're gonna really be telling jokes for a little while. So you know, if people say your name and your surname at the braai, you're going places. That was 20 years ago. So now we're doing this massive musical, and it may go to other parts of the country as well. But for now, Joburgers must come to Joburg Theatre.
So amazing. Well,
tickets and web tickets.
I mean, you're a successful comedian. Was there a time though where you felt like, I can't do this anymore?
I wish I could tell you that I have felt that way. I've never felt that way.
Wow.
I've never felt that way, and and it's strange to say it, but it's not, because I think if you are following what you have been created, if this is what your creator has wanted you to do, and you're doing that, you know, I'm one of the fortunate people in the world who've been able to. There are a lot of people listening to us right now who know that they're not doing what they should be doing, but they have no options.
True.
This is what they've got to be doing now to pay the bills.
Exactly.
And I'm one of the fortunate people. I've done other jobs along the line, and then when I found this, and I started being paid to do this, it's just there's no better thing than that. They're waking up in the morning going, I'm on the right path. So I've never been down about this comedy thing. You know, even when I thought there'd be quiet months or quiet times, somehow it's just, you know, it's just worked out because you're doing what you're called to do.
Wow. I want to know from you also, how's the transition been from doing stand up and now you theater, you acting literally now?
It's amazing because I've always wanted to be you know, acting, and I've always wanted to be, as I said, growing up singing in the church. Everyone who grew up in the church believes that they are Whitney Houston.
That is so
and
true.
And then one day you hang out with your friends who really can sing, and you go, oh no, okay, plan B. So I've always loved the idea of being on stage and being with other people. And the thing of the business of being a stand-up comedian, you know, and I don't know how many comedians you've interviewed before and ones who you will after
You're
this.
actually the first.
Oh my goodness, you're setting the bar so high.
Yeah. So I'm going to need an international one after Mark, you know, like...
Oh, yeah, you're putting it out there.
Yeah.
Okay. But you must interrupt with like a comedian, a rapper. So like me, and then Nasty, and then somebody else. So do it that way. Just putting it out there. So I think when you are doing stand-up comedy, you get so used to being alone.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing, because you arrive at the theater, and all the comedians go through this, and you can hear the audiences out there, and you hear 600 people, and you go, who do I think I am? They're not going to laugh, and oh my word, and then you start thinking, I'm not going to try the new material.
Exactly.
Because they're not going to get it. This is the end of my career, and you know, why am I here? My mother said that she had contacts at Discom, she could have gotten me a job, you know, I should have just gone with that.
Yeah.
And then you take that microphone, and after about 10 minutes, everything's fine, and it's a dance with the audience. But when I'm on stage with 14 other people, you know, you don't have these fears because you're in it together.
Yeah.
There's like a whole lot of people, and if the audience, because every night the audience is different with stand-up comedy and with this, and if it's a difficult audience, people are whispering backstage, you know, we've got to push harder, this audience is a little bit reserved.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's even talk backstage, like, did you see Rosie? Like, so you have more people, it's a bit of a family, it's less lonely, so the celebration is bigger, it's a bigger party, I think, when you're with other people. So I love this part of my journey, I love it.
Yeah, before I let you go, another question from one of my colleagues named Zandile. He wants to know, how important is freestyling? Because you can prep material for, maybe they say it's material for you, hoping that's going to be young people, and then when you get there, it's like corporate people there. So how important is freestyling?
It's I mean, it's so important to be able to read that crowd and to be able to go into your other stuff, and when it works, you know, what I will say is it's an evening straight from God when that works, because the magic there can never be repeated when you're going into territory that you've not prepared. Yeah. And it's working with the audience. You'll never have that night again. Yeah. You'll never have that audience again. And you just go home with this warmth and with this smile in the car, because you go, wow, that happened, and I had to shift things. And you find, you know, you go down different avenues and you're waiting, and 2 minutes on stage feels like 2 hours, and because you're waiting for it to drop. It's gonna, okay, it's not working. Wait, the other road. No, take the other corner there. Oh, yes, there. They're going for that. So because people start laughing like one person when they're in a group, they start laughing like one person. So it's important to be able to go into the freestyle side of comedy. But I generally know where I'm going. I've got bullet points. Yeah. So I know how to bring things home. Wow. You know, so there's a plan. There's always a plan.
Also, what I want to know, I was going to end it, but...
Also, I was just wondering.
You know what? Women love humor.
Yeah.
Has it been easy for you, like, to literally, like, attract them because you're funny? I mean, I think women always want to be around a funny man.
Okay,
Like,
bombshell, gay comedian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
already, but my all my straight friends hang out with me all the time.
Yeah.
Because they say that I pull all the chicks, quote unquote.
Oh.
So if you are a bit lonely, you know, and you're not lucky on any of those social media platforms where you're not swiping right or left, hang out with a comedian, because the hottest, sexiest people come to the bar. Listen to my right.
I think I'm gonna start hanging out tomorrow.
Come to the bar afterwards. Like hot, sexy people come to the bar and they love hanging out with comedians. So laughter really does attract people.
That is so true.
But I will say to you something that you've touched on now in that question that I found so interesting over the past years, that I found so true and so interesting. Comedy and women. If the women are laughing, everybody's happy. So you see men in the audience, before the guy laughs, he looks
at the lady.
He looks at the lady. If she's happy, suddenly the energy of the whole room changes. And as a result, I'll tell you something which is truth. I often get invited to do huge corporates for large amounts of money for men only, and I turn it down because women laugh differently.
Wow.
Men are very guarded. I think we've been reared to be guarded about our feelings and our emotions. Whereas women, especially, I love it in my audience when women come out in a group and they've left their boyfriends at home and they've got booked 12 tickets. I mean, some nights in Cape Town, we even when people laugh so much, you know, we found a set of dentures left behind already. But yeah, women know how to laugh.
Wow.
So it's been, women have been a gift to me and my comedy.
Yeah. I want to know lastly from you. Now this is my last question. No, this is really the last one. What's next for MarcLottering?
This has changed. The musical story has just proven to me that so much else is possible.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, it's very appealing to me, the idea it's an easy choice to take a microphone and to walk on stage alone. But having done this musical, I know that, you know, lots of things are possible. I've always wanted to write for other people.
Wow.
So now I've shown that it can be possible, as you will see when you come to book the shows. Others who are listening will see when they go to Web Tickets or any pick and play store.
Yes, you need to tell them where to get the
book
tickets.
The tickets for Joburg Theatre, only on until the 3rd of March. Or go to joburgtheatre.com or Web Tickets or pick and play to get a ticket. When you come and you hear all these actors who are screamingly funny deliver these lines, because we've got an interesting story. It's not just funny, we go to dark places in the show as well.
Yeah.
Very South African places. So, but this has proven to me anything's possible. So who knows, I'll be sitting here having another chat with you next year. More of my dreams would have come true.
Yeah.
Maybe there would be a film. Maybe you'll be talking to me. Maybe we'll be having a nasty chat and you'll be going, okay, Mark, you know what happened after your interview? I got a call. So miracles happen, dreams come true, and then we have to believe that, not only for our own lives but for the South African political life as well. This is a beautiful country, and I don't want South Africans to stop dreaming.
That is so beautiful. I want to tell you a story before I let you go. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I had Zakia Patel on my show.
Yes.
And I asked her, like, I was talking about the love month and if she celebrates Valentine's Day. And she said usually for her it's a family day for them. Like she spends time with her in-laws. And she was like, that day, on Valentine's Day this year, we're going to MarcLottering's new show. And I was like, oh, okay. That same day, I get a call saying, hey, would you like to interview MarcLottering? I was like, whoa. What?
Whoa, that is like
But listen, that was MarcLottering. Do catch his musical Anti-Mural by Joburg Theatre. Get your tickets on Web Ticket, Pick and Pay, or
joburgtheatre.com.
joburgtheatre.com. Here is some more music. At 11 a.m. we hang out with an acapella group by the name of Sounds of Tembisa. Let's go.